I hit that flow state, and that's really what I chase. Um, and I won't lie, I don't get it every audition. I don't get it every time I get a role and I'm on camera. It's something that keeps me going, because when I do achieve it, it is a high like no other, man.
Welcome back, everyone, to episode number 3 of the Johnny Rogers Show. My guest today is Jarred Bronstein. He's an actor, a YouTuber. Many of you will know him from Inform Overload, where you know me from. But I had a great conversation with Jarred today, all about acting specifically, because I'm trying to make this show based around a topic. As you can see with some of the titles that I've been using recently, I want to have conversations geared around a topic that people want to rant about. People that I'm friends with, or people that I want to interview. Even I want them to choose a topic that we can start going off of. And I think Jarred and I did just that. So I don't want to tease any more of it. But if you're listening right now, make sure that you are following or subscribed to the podcast, because that really helps us out. Just want to get that out of the way so we can get closer to monetization on the podcast. That way I can keep doing the podcast and get better equipment so I can provide a better listening experience. I listened back to the audio, and I don't know if I'm just a harsh critic on myself, but I was like, I do not like this audio. It sounds like a tin can. And that's not a knock to Yeti, because I actually really like Yeti. Yeti is a fantastic company. I usually have bad experiences when I'm trying to return products, but Yeti was the one time that I was like, okay, I'm staying with them just for that one customer service call. I had a Yeti for those of you who don't know all of the tech equipment. A Yeti mic is just that. It's this podcasting microphone. If you're watching the YouTube, that you can see right in front of me, but it broke after a year and a half of having it, and they have a warranty. So I called them, and it was just some dude on the phone. He was like, "Oh man, that sucks. That your Yeti mic broke." He's like, just send us some photos, dude, and we'll send you another one. I didn't even have to send it back. They just sent me another one in the mail. Fantastic. So I recommend Yeti, but I need to, I don't know, upgrade to maybe one of their better mics. We'll work on it. We'll work on that. But without any further delay, ladies and gentlemen, my guest today, Jarred Bronstein. I passed the topic off to you, though. I said, that's the thing I'm asking every guest that I have on is like, what's one thing that's on your mind that you really want to talk about right now?
Yeah, man.
Because I'd much rather that than like us try to, force any other topical, thing that's happening right now. It's better to just rant off of what's driving you right now. Yeah. So you said acting.
Bro,
so tell me what's going on with acting right now with you.
Interesting times for sure, man. Went through a period where there was like nothing going on, and then I had a little spurt of like it was just commercial auditions, which I was grateful for. I'm grateful for any auditions, and commercials are a way to make a lot of money, so I wasn't too upset about that. So yeah, I was doing those, and man, when I tell you, like, how the industry is, right? Like, you audition, you get callbacks, sometimes you're put on hold, and like that's the closest thing. A hold is the closest thing to booking. It's like a hold is like, make sure you're available. It's pretty much between you and somebody else, right?
Yeah.
Bro, in the span of a week and a half, I had 3 holds, and I got released from every single one.
Oh.
Yeah. So for people that don't know what that means, it means they said like, "Wow, we might choose you." No, we're going someone else. 3 times in like a week and a half, which is unheard of.
Damn.
You get a hold like once every few months if you're lucky. But on the flip side, I was talking to my agent, and I was like, what could I do? And she spoke to a casting director, and they said the fact that he's getting that close is such a good sign. So just tell him to keep doing what he's doing. So silver lining of like, it's good to get that positive feedback of, you're doing something right.
Of course.
But at the same time, man, to get that close in such a short period of time, so many times and not get it, like it just it pain, it hurts a little bit. But that's the industry, right? You got to have thick skin. You can't let that come back to you and be like, oh, what could I have done better? What was this? What was that? So that's when you asked me what was on my mind, it was around the time I was going through that, or it was still on my mind. It happened like just a couple weeks ago. And yeah, but hey,
well,
man,
from your experience, like, how do you deal with rejection? Because when you're in the entertainment industry and you're going to all of these different auditions, you're just naturally going to have to deal with it at some point in time.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough that I did door-to-door sales So I knew rejection long before acting. I
Fair.
laughed at getting, denied in auditions. That was like whatever. But yeah, I'll
Yeah,
let you
I
get to
mean,
that.
from a young age, I would put myself out there, ask girls out on dates a lot, and I'd get rejected a lot. So that
That's
kind of
always the
prepped
one,
me.
eh?
Yeah, no, definitely. No, I think it's something that I kind of just realized comes with the territory. Like I remember even being in school, our comedy teacher, who you might actually know, because she's like an actor and she's a comedian. Sheila McCarthy is her name.
Don't know
I don't
the
know if
name.
she's no. Well,
I might
she
have met her
literally
around. There's lots of comedians in Toronto.
for sure, yeah, no. That's why I thought like I don't know. I know it's a
Yeah, no,
huge
no, it's a
community, but
fair
it's a small
assumption.
community. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
it's the same thing
Oh,
with the
for
acting
sure.
industry. Is
Yeah.
like someone always knows someone.
There's people I meet, and then I add them on Facebook. And we have like 400 mutual friends. I'm like, how have I
Literally,
never met you before?
right? So
That
that's why I
happens a
asked.
lot
But
in Toronto. You're just like, what the hell?
so she literally one of our comedy classes, she straight up said to us, she's like, I just want to let you guys all know that you're like fucking crazy because the fact that you're choosing this as a career path, like you really got to ask yourself, there's anything else that you're willing to do the rest of your life before you decide this is what you want to do. Because she's like, this industry sucks. Like like no normal
Uh,
person actually decides they want to be an actor. Like it's
I don't know.
just with the amount
I
of stuff
hate.
you go through.
I'm starting to hate that assumption. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
fair.
because like there are like amazing parts to the industry as well. So that's
Oh,
like
100%, a hundred
it's like,
percent.
yeah, it's gonna suck, but like I feel like the weight of the win is greater than like the amount of suck and struggle that you have to go through.
Well, that's the thing, right? I think it could apply to any industry that you're
Yeah,
in.
yeah.
Like anything, first of all, anything in life that you do that you're new at, you're gonna suck at first. So that's like
Oh,
a
of
given.
course.
Doesn't matter
Yeah,
what you
yeah,
do, you're gonna be shit at first, right? You get better over
yeah.
time. But in the industry, 100%, man, because like as much as the rejection sucks, the feeling of booking, like it feels like you won the lotterie, even though it comes down to the work that you put in. Again, sometimes it comes down to a look, and people think like, oh, you just need to have the right look, or you have to be lucky. But it's like,
It's a
no,
lot. It's that and more. Like
like
it's
if you're
not
not
just
taking the
that. Yeah,
classes,
yeah,
like
yeah.
if you don't have an agent, you're not really going to be put out there. Everyone always
Yeah.
talks about the girl from Hairspray, how she was working in an ice cream parlor and got the lead in Hairspray, and
Those are
it's
all
like,
fucking fairy tales.
no, that's what it's like.
She
Good
was
for
probably
her. That's
also
great.
working as an actor.
Who knows, right? But at the
Yeah,
same time, it's like, and again, I genuinely, maybe she is doing more acting. I don't know. I don't know where she is now, but it's like maybe that was just the one role she got, and now it's like
yeah.
nothing else because she's just the girl from Hairspray, and it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, she was right for that part. Whereas other actors spent like Patrick Stewart, he made it when he was, I think, he got Star Trek and he was like 40.
Yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson, I think he was like in his 60s or 70s before his career really took off. So what people don't understand about the industry is like, at least my perspective of it, it's a lot of people start, early teens, mid teens. And by like 25, 26, like our age, when they're like, you know what, I want to settle down, I got to find something more realistic. And it's like, that's just for me, that's not my way of thinking. My way of thinking is like, it'll happen at some point. I just got to keep going with it. I think people
Mhm.
give up way too early. And that's why they think they have this mentality of like, oh, but it's so hard.
Yeah.
Because really, like to act full time, I mean, man, some of these commercials pay five. If you get an American commercial, dude,
It's
you could be making 10,
wild.
20 grand off one.
And if
And it's
there's
like a day's work.
royalties,
That's what I mean. Like
yeah,
you
you're
get
set.
like in Canada, you get a buyout. So they'll just give you a lump sum and they could run it
Sure,
for,
yeah.
6 months or a year. Dude, in the US, every single time it plays, you're making cash. Like you could literally do a commercial and make 40, 50 grand off 2 or 1 day's work that just comes passively to you.
Yeah, it's
Like,
wild. There's
so,
people that do it. I mean, there's lots of people
that's
that
what I
do it,
mean.
which
There's
is
people that
crazy.
they're not even movie stars. They just do commercials and they
Yeah,
make
yeah.
a comfortable living doing that.
So would you say that having that mentality or that mindset helps with the rejection because you're just like, oh, it's just part of the job?
Yeah, I mean, I've learned to not get hung up on anything of it anymore. There was like when I was a younger actor, it was definitely, oh, I got so close. What else could I have done? And now it's just I've gotten to the point where it's you like even when I do an audition, I do it and I move on with my life because the audition isn't my
Mhm.
life, right? I got so many other things going on. I'm working, like girlfriend, my everything, like
Yeah, yeah.
whatever else I'm doing, side hustles. I'm trying to move out of my parents' place. I don't know if you just heard my dad yelling about the berries or something.
No,
So,
I didn't hear it at all.
so yeah, so like I have so many other things
That's
going on in
great
my
though.
life that that the mentality I had before, I guess, when I didn't have as much going on, when I was in, like high school, for example, or college. And obviously in college I had a lot going on, but it was all acting based anyways, right? It was, I had to memorize a
Mhm.
script for tomorrow's class. So if I ever had an audition, it was still within that realm of acting that I was always thinking about it. Now I got so many other things going on that it's like I do an audition and now it's like, okay, the audition's done. Now let me get back to whatever I got to do. And then if I just so happen to get a call, hey, you got a call back, it's like, oh shit, yeah, I did that audition last week, didn't I? Like, it's not something that I'm constantly playing over in my head of like, what else could I do? What could I do? Because I've
Yeah.
done so many of them, I've realized like, you'll drive yourself crazy, man. Like, I just do it and I forget about it. And that's been the
Yeah.
best way to go about it for me personally. I know everyone has a different method. Um, and I won't lie, like I'm still talking about those commercials that I was on hold for. So obviously there's
Yeah,
still
yeah.
some, feelings
Is
of what.
there is part of it is any part of it like a jealousy? And have you ever experienced that before, like in the acting entertainment industry, where you see someone else get a job where you're like, oh, I should have gotten that? Or maybe like a commercial runs that you auditioned for and you're like, oh, fuck, I auditioned for that and they picked that guy.
For
And then you
sure.
actually
A
remember him from the audition or whatever. Like, what's
a
your way
hundred
of like
percent.
dealing with that?
Um, like, it really depends on the situation. What I've realized, especially in the industry, is a lot of the times, they genuinely don't even know what they want. I've auditioned for stuff where, I mean, you could see what I look like. I auditioned for a role and I saw it on the commercial on TV, and it was some like really skinny, like ginger, like almost like nerdy looking kid, for lack of a better word, like total opposite of me.
Yeah,
There was a
for
feature
anybody
film.
listening, Jared looks like a lumberjack.
Yeah, I got a beard.
Uh, that's doing poetry right now. It's all
Literally,
black.
I gotta shave too, man. I did not come prepared for this for the
Hey,
video.
whatever. You
Um,
imagine I sent you a call sheet that said clean shaven.
literally,
I used
I
to
should
hate
have.
that when you'd get so sometimes for auditions they'll send you like shit that they need you to have ready for the audition for people listening at home, and a lot of the time it says clean shaven, and if you even have a lick of hair on your face, they're just like get out.
Game over. I've had auditions before where they actually, the 7-Eleven commercial that I did. I think I had some facial
Humble
hair, and they were,
brag.
yeah, yeah. So I just want to slide that in there. Um, but they literally said, "Are you willing to shave?" And I was like, 100%. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
100%. That's always my 100%. Yes, I'm not married to my beard. I like having facial hair, but
For a
if
paycheck, fuck
I'm,
yeah.
yeah, if you're gonna pay
It'll
me,
grow
no problem.
back.
I'll shave it. It
Yeah,
literally, and it grows back quick, man. I'm Jewish, so it grows back like that.
yeah.
But yeah, no, like I've seen commercials where like literally they've casted the opposite of me.
Yeah, that's great.
So
And it's just a sudden change, I guess.
that's what I mean, and it happens, right? So
Yeah.
my biggest thing really is maintaining like a similar look, right? So like, for example, I have an audition I have to do, and I was like, I could do it tonight, but I was like, I was gonna shave. So for example, if I do the audition tonight and I shave tomorrow, and then I get a call back next week and my beard isn't as thick, they could just
Yeah,
write me off like, nope.
that's the annoying thing
So you
too.
got to keep your look consistent for the most part, like,
I find
to a
that
certain
tough.
extent. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, especially with facial hair, man. That's why for the most part I've had like the stubble look. Again, this is considered long for me.
Mm.
For anyone listening at home, it's like, it's not a thick beard, but it's fairly, you
It
know.
looks like newly just for men. Like they were sponsoring. You're like, all right, I guess.
Yeah, just gonna fill it out on the sides there. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's I'm not even gonna say one of the downsides of the industry. I mean, that's part of the industry. You're on camera, you got to maintain a consistent look for the most part, right? Um, but yeah, that's something that I always have to kind of keep in the back of my head. Even when I get haircuts, I'm like, you can't make. I usually show my barber my headshot. I'm like, could you make it as close to this as
Yeah, that
possible?
sucks.
Because like I don't want him to make it too
Yeah.
short, and then my agent's like, why is your hair so short? I can't send you out right now. So there's things like that I think
Hmm.
people don't think about in the industry, or realize that if they're not a part of the industry,
But
these are
it,
things people don't think about, right?
yeah, yeah, that's just on your regular, like everything that you'll have to
Yeah,
maintain. Which again, for the payoff, you're like, all right, that's what I'll do. It did
that's
just
it,
the
right?
only thing is it becomes annoying sometimes. You know,
100%.
there's like the odd time that you're like, I want to do something crazy with my hair, and you're like, oh, I can't, or else I need to buy new headshots.
And they are not cheap.
They're not cheap, which is
Definitely not cheap.
another
So
thing that you need. Yeah, there's like, I wonder if you have any, because for me, I learned this very early on and it was a helpful tip. But I don't know if you have any other helpful tips for people that are aspiring actors out there, maybe listening to this. But one thing that I heard was never ever buy like your headshot photos or any photo shoot of any kind from your agency. They should not be offering that together because that is a
Yeah,
conflict of interest, really. Like the headshots need to be done by a separate photography,
photographer for sure.
like a different photographer that maybe specializes in that or something, or is well known. If you can, the best thing is if you can find the the person taking the headshots that is getting people in the city the most amount of work, because what
100%.
tends to happen is like casting directors will start to favor certain photos and certain ways that they're taken, and you'll
Yeah,
notice it's the person getting the actor the work is really this photographer.
100%, because
And
they
it's
all
like
have the
it can
same
make
look in the
that much of a
headshot. Yeah,
difference. Yeah, it can make that much of a
100%.
difference.
Yeah, no, that's something that's huge. For sure. There's definitely like agencies that are very scammy, where it's like, we'll set you up and you got to do this, you got to do that. Um, like my agent has recommended photographers, but she's never like, you have to go to this person. She's
Yeah,
like,
yeah, for
here's
sure.
here's a photographer, and
She's not making money by recommending you. That's
no,
where the
not
VA
that I
starts
know
to
of.
have problems. Yeah,
No,
yeah,
not that I know
yeah. Getting
of.
fucking
But
biscuits under
yeah,
the
no,
table.
there are. Who knows? There are some
Well, a
agencies
couple
though
shekels.
that are not legit.
Yeah, yeah, of
Like
course.
they say to find a legitimate agency, just go to the actor website and go to the like actor
Yeah.
agreement website. So
Or
you
if you're in
see
the
agents that
US, I
are
think it's SAG.
yeah, yeah, exactly, SAG, which always been a name that I've always been like,
Yeah,
can't name anything else.
hilarious,
Like
right?
it's the Screen
Nothing.
Actors Guild,
Yeah, I
but
know.
it's like, can't you call it like the Screen Actors Association or like
Yes, the SA. How
you know what I mean? Like the
about
saw,
the
dude.
Screen
Like
Actors Commission? We just call it the SAC.
SAG, yeah. Oh, like in Team America.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say what it was, but you remember
Mm-mm,
what it was?
mm. I
Yeah,
watched that movie
yeah.
so long ago.
It's a
That
funny
movie's
one, man. But yeah,
ridiculous.
those guys get away with a lot. But that's the thing, right? Is like in
That's
this
the cartoon
industry,
world.
yeah, and in this industry, that's something else, right? Like it's you got to be careful with what you say, what you put out there.
Mm.
I
Mhm.
literally had an audition where they said they wanted to do a social background check, and then I was like, oh,
You're like,
like
uh-oh, what'd I tweet?
that yeah, I'm like, is that something I should be concerned about? So I started deleting stuff off my like Twitter
Yeah.
account, and
You
I'm like,
start to
but what?
wonder if Mr. Spicy is a little too much. You're like,
Yeah, I'm like, what
are they gonna
is?
find
Are
this
some of my
offensive?
reactions on YouTube like
Yeah, yeah.
not like? I'm like, where is the line? I'm not gonna live my life just on eggshells just in case. But I'm like, where
Yeah,
is the
yeah.
line of what's considered acceptable, quote unquote? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, obviously, I don't make jokes that are inappropriate to a certain extent. But like a sexual joke here and there, is that going to lose me a gig? Like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like, who decides these
Wh-
things? I'm not a Disney kid, so it's like I should
Yeah.
be able to say the F word and not have it,
You can say
you
it,
know,
you know.
fuck.
Okay. How does that feel?
No, but it's like I should be able
I
to
don't
say
bleep
that.
shit here. I'd rather make no money.
But that's what I mean. Like on my YouTube channel, I don't
Yeah.
keep it clean because I'm just like, well, first of all, it's not monetized anyway, so I can say
Yeah,
whatever I
you're like,
want,
I
do
want
whatever
my
I want.
audience to be whatever audience wants that, you know?
But that's what I mean, right? I'm not gonna
Yeah.
kowtow to YouTube's guidelines because
No.
they feel I got to play it safe. Like for who? That's not, I'm not gonna.
That's what YouTube Kids is for.
But literally, that's why I don't understand why they have YouTube Kids if they're gonna make regular
Yeah.
YouTube
Yeah, yeah,
censored
yeah.
as well.
YouTube should have always said, we do not censor here. That's for parents to do.
Yeah,
And just
and
left it
I
at
get
that.
it. Like it really happened with the whole like ad thing, ad apocalypse or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. Where they started coming for the people paying. They started coming for the wallet. As soon as you come for the
Yeah.
wallet, they bend at the
Then
knee.
YouTube, yeah, they'll change the rules real
Anyone
quick.
would. I mean, anyone would.
Yeah, I mean,
Anyone
look,
changes up their tune.
YouTube's, but I mean, it's Google too, right? So they're making plenty of money. They're doing very well.
Yeah, it's not like they're gonna be
Like,
broke soon or anything. You don't even hear about them spending a lot of money on big endeavors. Like the people are always like, "Oh, Elon Musk is so rich," and I'm like, "Yeah, but he's also like spending an enormous amount of money at the
yeah,
same time, right? Like he's buying all these new big facilities in different spots. He's building giant batteries in Australia. Like
He's a madman.
Yeah, but you never hear Google. Whenever you hear about Google spending money,
Spending billions of dollars, nothing. They
anything,
just
I've
make
never heard.
billions, and they just,
No.
I don't know, man.
Anyway.
But yeah, no, it's definitely something that I've kept in mind. Like, again, with my own YouTube channel, even the stuff that I did, when we worked together, like on
Yeah.
IO and the reaction channels, I'm like, who knows what I've said that might
Yo,
come back to bite me in the ass,
dude, I don't even know. I've done so many videos at this point. It's like God knows what. I just stopped caring what I said in videos
But
because
that's
I'm
the
like,
thing,
God
right?
knows.
I've stopped because I've realized, like, at the end of the day, even when I make jokes that some may deem offensive or unacceptable, like, I think it's quite evident who I am as a person. Like, I think
Yeah.
people know that I'm not a malicious person. I don't
No,
have
no.
malicious intent. I'm just an entertainer. I'm just trying to make
You're
people
here
laugh
right
and
now
feel
to clear
good.
the record.
Yeah, just so everyone before Kimmel gets it, before
Yeah.
Fallon gets it, Johnny's getting it. I'm
But
not a piece of shit.
exclusive. Exclusive update right now.
It'd be
This
a
just did.
TMZ headline: Jarred Bronstein, not a piece of shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I mean, that's kind of like, because there's certain comedians and there's certain YouTubers who do things that toe the line, and I'm like, why is it okay for them to do it? But I've realized it's because it's almost like Rogan, for example.
Mhm.
When people try to cancel Rogan, it's not his fan base trying to cancel him. It's people that don't
No.
listen to him. Joey
Yeah.
Diaz, another prime example, right? So it's like when they get canceled, for lack of a better word, their fans are like, we're still going to support them because we know this is who they are.
Yeah, it's
Whereas,
because there's enough people. That's the people always talk about how overpopulation is a problem. It's like I don't think it's a problem at all. I think there's enough of us that we could all support each other. If everyone started a
yeah,
podcast and we all were listening to each other's shit, not saying that everyone should, but if
they
everyone
should.
started, a business, they should. Everyone should start a podcast. Yeah, sure. But like if everyone was just supporting each other in that way and
100%.
even not canceling each other, even just donating $5 or whatever to someone's Patreon every month, and then there's like 100 people that do that, and you can make a good side hustle off of it. Like,
Yeah.
I think it might be I would hope that would be the way of the future, that like, some guy in a small town or whatever just starts a podcast about all the things he loves about his town, and he just like works at a fucking hardware store or something downtown, but then he gets like 2,000 followers that are people from his town of maybe like 20,000 people.
Yeah. But
And
that's
then
it.
he's
That's
yeah, like it spins into such an easy like way for other humans to just support each other. It's crazy.
And that's what I don't understand is people are so much quick to tear each other down than support each other. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Which is a
Like
good way to
it's
flip jealousy. Is like if you feel that jealous moment, flip it into support instead. Like force
yeah.
yourself to be like, no, good for them. They earned that.
And maybe you could grow from that, right? Maybe
Yeah.
you could learn from the things
Yeah.
that they're doing.
Even
It's
maybe
like
even
it's
just by saying the positive thing, it's like pushing you to grow.
Yeah. And I think, yeah, I don't know, man. I think, it's easy to blame our situation with the pandemic on like, oh, people are under a lot of stress, but it's like doesn't give you really an
At some
excuse
point you
to
can't use that as an excuse anymore.
that's what I mean. It doesn't give you an excuse to just be a shit person and try to tear other people down.
No.
And don't get me wrong, like I appreciate when someone does something wrong and they're called out for it. I don't appreciate when someone does something wrong and they try to make amends and then it's like, okay, on to the next one. It's like, what was the real reason for the outrage then? Like
Yeah. Just to
so
like get a
many of these
win, like it's a
that's what I
video
mean. So many
game.
people that get like
Yeah.
canceled, they get tore down and then they're like, okay, I'm sorry, I was wrong, like I fucked up. And it's like, okay, let's move on. Like, for
Yeah.
example, off the top of my head, and I don't even know the whole situation, but like Chris Delia, did he say his name? Delia? Chris Delia.
Dalia. Yeah.
He popped up on my YouTube the other day and I was like, didn't he go through some shit? And I'm like, oh, he just went away
Yeah.
for a little bit and now he's back and everyone moved on. And it's
No,
like,
he
again,
came back. No. Did you see his apology? He came back and like apologized and said some shit like he was just something about him being like too attractive, or like he gets too much like pussy or something on the road. Like
he said he's too attractive.
no,
So it
I don't
wasn't
know.
even like an apology.
I'm putting words in his mouth. I'm putting words in his mouth. But it
No,
was
but I
something
get what you're saying.
ridiculous.
It
It was
wasn't
something
like
ridiculous. I
genuine.
wonder if I
But
can just pull it up.
that's what I mean though. It's like what's okay, so he went away for a bit, he came back, everyone moved on, and it's like, so what did we get out of that? Like what do you get out of it? I don't understand.
Yeah.
You know? Um look, a great example is like Logan Paul. With that whole situation, it seems he really flipped the switch. After that, he went from total piece of shit to now, like, I've grown to like him because he's grown up and he's more entertaining.
Yeah, he has like an actual head on his shoulders in some direction. What he's doing, he doesn't look like he's obviously cloud chasing. I think the real thing is just like being genuine. We want to see more people that are just genuine. That's why
And
a lot
that's
of people
it.
on TikTok do really well, is because they're just being themselves, or they're just being stupid, or just trying to make their friends laugh, and they're
But
not like putting on a show.
I think this whole cancel culture is going to like hinder that genuine side of people because they're going to be so like walking on eggshells, so fearful of what they can and can't say, not wanting to offend anybody. And it's like, how did this culture, like, it's just the mob with the pitchforks just going from town to town to town. And it's like, when are they going to look in the mirror and realize they're part of the problem too? Just trying to tear people down just cause, you
Yeah,
know?
and it's
Like,
it's almost one of those things where you have to just like walk away from them. Like you have to just like literally ignore them
yeah,
until they
literally.
run out of
And they'll find
steam.
someone else.
Yeah, because it's like trying to talk to them. That's been done. That's been like
Yep.
trying to like talk someone down from that. And anytime someone gets canceled and tries to talk immediately, it never works.
Never. You just
It
gotta
never
like
works so
let it
well.
sit for a little bit. Everyone
Yeah,
moves on to somebody else. You forget about it, and then you go back to doing your
exactly.
thing, and no one cares. And it's like
I
that's
got
why. Oh, you
I
got
got it
busy.
here. So as for deadline, Chris D'Elia said in his apology here, he said, I do know how it looks with all the stuff that's been said. I know it looks bad and it doesn't show the full scope of what happened. I stand by the fact that all my relationships have been consensual and legal. That's the truth. However, sex controlled my life, he said, and I have a problem, and I do have a problem. I need to do work on that. Later in the video, he apologized to all who had been caught up in his activities. I'm sorry I fucked you. Like, what? Sex control my life. So I mean, the whole issue was that like the women that he slept with were saying that they were underage, and he was like,
Yeah, and there was like, wasn't there a girl that was like 16 or 17 that said she was underage, and
yeah,
he still kept
right,
talking to her?
yeah, and there's that whole video of him realizing that you can save Snapchats. Like,
That was hilarious, dude. The Curb Enthusiasm, that was top notch. That was so well done.
like what? And his response was just, I'm sorry, I fuck a lot. I didn't know
I
any
had
of
a
them
lot of
were.
sex.
I
Like,
didn't know any of them were underage. I just get so much puss that I
can't
couldn't.
keep up.
I can't ID everyone. That would get so tiring. You know how many consent forms I had to print out? I ran out that day. What do you want me to do?
I did my best. I'm sorry. Just let me move on with my life.
Oh my god,
But
man. Yeah, now he's just back podcasting.
that's what I mean. It's just like, yeah, whatever.
That's fine. He has
Let's
the
move
people
on.
that are going to support him. Like, here's the
And
thing: is
that's
that, like,
it.
I had this conversation with Patrick. Is just like, if he is such, if there is an actual crime that's been had, the police will deal with that on a private matter on their
Yes.
own. This
Yes.
doesn't need to. We don't need internet detectives. We really don't.
And that's really what it's turned into is the internet.
Just don't engage with his content.
Yeah.
If you view him as
Just
that
don't
way,
support them.
don't support him. And
A
then
hundred
that's how you
percent.
do it. Yeah. You don't like
I don't
Amber
know,
Heard
man.
and Aquaman 2? Don't watch Aquaman 2. You know, she has
Yeah.
like, it is, it's a sad state. It's a
It
sad
really
state
is,
though.
man. Yeah, it is. I think people just have to get back to just doing things they enjoy. Find
Yeah.
hobbies, support people, like do happy things. I feel like this negative mindset is really taken over our society where it's like, again, like let's tear people down rather than build them up, rather than going after Amber Heard or Chris D'Elia. Not to say that I'm fans of theirs per se, but
Yeah.
it's like I would rather watch someone's content or support someone that I want to see do well than tear down someone else that I don't like. And I
No,
think
for 100%.
that's I think where the big divide is, right? People would rather conquer than build up, which granted, people get what they deserve. I understand all that, but it's like you said, let the police do their job.
Yeah.
You know, like the whole Amber Heard Johnny situation, the courts are dealing with it.
Yeah, yeah.
saying how
People who
you're
are
not gonna,
trained in this are actually dealing with it.
saying like sending her death threats or typing on her Instagram that she's a bitch or this or that. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah. They're not gonna like
what's
stay
that
in
gonna
trial
do?
and be like, well, let's pull up the Twitter feed and find out what the jury has to say.
Right? Like, I don't know, man. And it's like the fact that a lot of these big corporations, people are losing movie roles because of cancel culture. People are losing their jobs, their livelihood. It's ridiculous to me, man. It's like, it's so ridiculous.
It is pretty crazy that there's like really, really insane shit happening in the world, but in North America, we're like, Ellen's mean.
Right? Literally. And don't get me wrong, I've done so many videos
Like
on Ellen.
in
So
it.
many
Oh,
videos
same
on her.
here. Same
But I have
here.
a choice.
Yeah,
It was
I was
work.
literally titled to do that job because,
It was
and
work.
the reason why we did those videos is not because we wanted to do those videos, but because everyone wanted to watch those
Yeah,
videos.
man. Yeah.
People really, really loved watching her downfall. It was crazy.
Yeah. But again, it comes
Like,
back to, is it the jealousy? Like, she has something that I don't have, so she can't have it. She shouldn't have it.
I guess, like, I think it's like I think it's a bit of jealousy that it is like harboring there. I think it's a mix of things with her, especially, right? Like, first, there was like they feel like they've been tricked because for some reason people think that like who she was on TV is who she is in real life,
All the
which
time,
is
everywhere.
not the case. Yeah, she's
She's a
just
human
always
being.
happy and
She's
dancing.
human.
Yeah, so it's like there was that, and then there was the fact that she said once publicly, people need to be more kind." I think she just said that, but it was after someone had taken their own life. Like, of course, she's gonna be like, "Yeah, everyone should be more kind." Anybody would fucking say that. What else would you say in that moment, right? When you have to break that kind of news. And then so people just kind of like lashed her and made her like the be kind woman, basically. So you have all
Right.
these expectations for her. And then maybe you're harboring just a little bit of jealousy towards like celebrities and people, rich people that are doing better than you, anyways, right? Which I think is a poor relationship to have with money. Like, if you hate rich people so much, are you just saying that you're just gonna want to forever struggle for the rest of your life? Like,
Yeah, that's another thing that yeah, like, I don't know, man.
Like, I don't get that. Like, this is not a person who was like born rich. Like, she struggled for that money. Like, she worked as a
A
stand-up
long time, dude.
comedian.
Yeah.
She came out as gay and was like shunned for it. And then she goes through
Yep.
all of that shit, finally gets her own like show, and then she gets canceled because she was like had a bad day,
Well, that's the thing. Like, I remember
along
it
with
started
like probably 20 rumors.
with like Nikki tutorials or whatever saying that she wasn't nice or whatever, which is like, sure, maybe it was just an off day, whatever it is, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
what about like the dozens of people that are like, Ellen's the sweetest, the Jonas Brothers love her, whoever else has been on the show? Like, there's two sides to it. We do a lot of videos of like top 10 celebrities that hate Ellen or call out Ellen or expose Ellen,
Yeah,
whatever the videos were,
yeah.
right? But what about all the celebrities that are like, oh, she's the sweetest. Whenever I see her, she's so kind.
Yeah.
She's so this, she's so that.
People
So
don't
it's
want to
like,
know about that.
that's what I mean, right? There's two sides to it, right? It's like, it's easy
Why
just to latch
though?
onto the one side.
It is, but like that's the tough thing with trying to cover news now in this like internet era is it's all news, all news. It's not just like independent news, it's like even network news. I've noticed even
Hmm.
on YouTube, they've all turned to like clickbait.
Oh, yeah.
They've all turned to becoming like those trashy magazines you see at the
Yep.
checkout that you hate
Yep.
so
Grocery
much
store. Yeah.
at the grocery store, the like with the obscene titles and like terrible photos of celebrities. And like for whatever reason, like we love that shit. Like people eat that shit up. That stuff's been around forever. Forever. I remember seeing that stuff when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So to
And it's all
now to
fake.
see it all shift to that, yeah, it's all set
It's
up.
just
It's all
all,
just to
it's all
grab it.
bullshit. Like you said, a
But my
clickbait,
question
right?
is,
It's
why are we
all,
grabbing it? Why are we latching onto that? What is wrong with the viewer that we want to be mad? We want to be angry.
I think it's a sense of like, it's almost something, again, this is my personal opinion, but I think it's something that it's like, it's very easy for someone who isn't happy with their life to shit on someone else to make them feel bad about
Mhm.
themselves. It's very easy to see like Ellen getting canceled and finding pleasure, like, oh, you know what? Like, I'm having some struggles paying like a bill or two, but I'm not going what she's going through. Like, she's losing like left, right, and center. So, it's not. and we kind of get a feeling of comfort that it's like we're not in as bad of a position, quote unquote, even though Ellen's probably like sitting in her $40 million mansion
Yeah.
laughing at these tweets with people being like, you suck. You know what I mean?
It's probably not even looking at. I mean,
Yeah.
like,
Like, and that's the thing. I think, I think we just need to get back to a place where, like you said, people are lifting each other up and more positivity. And, at the end of the day, people got to remember everyone's human. Like,
yeah, words fucking hurt, dude.
yeah, yeah.
Like
Like,
you see it enough times, and you're just like, I wonder if that is true. Because it's like
yeah,
it's no human is without insecurities. It's just all
100%. And
about
that's the
how each
thing, right?
individual like
When you cancel
compartmentalizes that.
somebody and when
Yeah,
you
yeah,
shit on somebody like that, and like deserved or not, it's like there's a certain point when someone doesn't need to be dragged through the mud to that point, because God forbid if they were to do anything, like then the tides change again, and it's like, oh, we should have, we shouldn't have done this, we should have known, we should have, and it's like, so then, like,
yeah. What
where's
was
the
all the
line?
hoopla in the first place? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's one of those things, and like again, not to get morbid, but God forbid if Ellen did do something to herself during that whole storm, do you think the same people would be like, good? No, they would 100% flip the switch and be like, we should learn from this. We should never
Best
do this. This
person
isn't right.
ever. Yeah, yeah,
Right. And
yeah.
it's
How
like,
many
let's
times has
not.
that happened?
Right. So it's like people just, they don't learn from their mistakes. In the sense of something like that, they don't realize, like you said, words hurt. Like everyone's human. Doesn't matter how much money you have, doesn't matter how much fame you have, doesn't matter how many fans you have. I mean, I know as YouTubers, when we first, I mean, I won't speak for you, but I'll speak for myself. When I first started, even up till my couple last days, dude, I would always read the comments like, oh, I love Jared. He's the best. He's the best. And you get that one comment like, who's this idiot? This guy's
Yeah,
not funny at all. And it's
yeah,
like, I don't take it personally, but I'm just like, why'd you take time out of your day to say that? Like, what did you get out of
yeah.
that? You know what I mean? And again, it's
That's
not
all
something
you
that I
can do with it.
it's like, and that's the thing, right? I didn't dwell on it per se, but when I first started, 100%, because it's like, yeah, and look, I appreciate all the support I get, but to kind of keep me level headed, I've realized like at the end of the day, everybody's a stranger. Nobody knows me personally, like the way you know me. So they just know my online persona, quote unquote, which I'd say is pretty similar to who I am as a person.
Oh, yeah,
But
yeah,
at the same time, it's like obviously I put on for the camera a little bit. I'm not just sitting with my
yeah.
friends
It
like,
had a little
"What's up? It's Mr.
pizzazz.
Spicy." Like, you know
Yeah,
what I
you
mean?
imagine if
Like,
you just slid into rooms like that.
so it's
Your
like,
dad is like, "You're late for dinner."
yeah, like, what are you doing? Sit down. Like,
What's up? It's Mr. Spicy.
there's
Dad,
a
do we have
level
any
of,
Pop-Tarts left?
whoa, these Pop Tarts are so good. Like, there's a level
You're
of
looking at the
obviously
non-existent. Yeah.
entertainment to it. I'm not going to do a
Mhm.
reaction video and be like, oh, cool,
Yeah.
next. Wow,
You're
look
like
at that.
checking your phone.
That's what I mean, right? Like, there's
Yeah.
a level of like a job to it in a
Yeah,
sense,
you're an
right?
entertainer to
Um,
some degree.
right, and that's exactly it. So kind of going back to Ellen specifically, like, yeah, her whole persona was to be nice, be kind, but she's still human. She could still deal with shitty things. You know what I mean? A close family member of hers passes away, and she's mourning their death. Coming home from the funeral, if you see her on the street, like, hey, Ellen, can I get a picture? I wouldn't expect her to be like, hey, how you doing?
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Hold on, let me
no,
just
you know what I
I
mean? Like,
yeah, yeah, it's stupid.
so really, it's just this mentality that it's like, I think people have expectations for who entertainers, specifically celebrities, musicians, any kind of form of like public figure, for lack of a better word, are. Like, for example, I'll even use Jake Paul. I know everybody hates him, and like, yeah, he's cocky, he's this, he's that. But I genuinely believe if someone were to see him on the street and approach him, I don't think he'd be like, "Get out of here, you piece of shit! I'll beat you up." I think he'd probably take a picture with them. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know the guy. I don't know him from a hole in the wall.
I
But
I would assume that he would. Yeah, yeah. I would assume that he definitely would.
like, I don't think maybe he'd be like, "Sorry, I don't have time." But
Yeah, I guess it
like,
depends.
it depends on the situation, right? But I think this mentality that like at the end of the day, people have to understand that entertainers are just characters. They're doing things for a reaction. So Jake Paul, when he says all the things that he says, he's doing it. McGregor too. He's doing it just for the reaction. Not to say that it's wrong. For some people, they thrive in that environment. Personally, I wouldn't. But for Jake and
I could
and
not
McGregor,
handle it.
it works, right? It works for them.
There's
They
some
make it
shit
work.
those guys say, and I'm like, God,
Yeah,
he
I'm
is
like, all right,
poking the bear.
yes, 100%. But
You gotta
they
have
could
fuck
hand,
you money to be able to do that shit, man.
that's the thing. There's also a certain level where it doesn't
Right.
matter anymore. That even if
Yeah.
you don't have a career, it's like you have enough money that you can just do whatever you want anyway. So who cares,
Yeah.
right?
There's people that try to do that and they don't have the fuck you money and it does not work out.
Nope, 100%. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Um, but I'm not really sure how we got here from acting, to be honest. It kind of just like went that way, which
No,
I'm fine
that's
with, dude.
fine, dude. That's the
I'm just
nature of
happy
the
to talk, bro.
podcast. No, yeah,
Um,
no, definitely, dude.
but
But like
yeah,
here,
just
let me ask you this. What was the like your craziest experience like in the world of acting? Where you're just like when were you like, oh fuck, like I'm an actor. Like you had that like that feeling.
so I have a few crazy, not crazy, but a few interesting experiences. First one was like the moment I realized I wanted to be an actor, was I
Yeah, let's
think
start with that. That's good.
grade 11 drama class. I had to do a scene. It was a pantomime, so it was just they played music in the background. You had to do a scene, and that was it. So I played the Pink Panther theme, and my scene was I go into like a jewelry store. I rob the guy for a diamond, and I walk out. That's how the scene was supposed to go, but I couldn't use words, right? So it's just I had
Hmm.
a prop gun, I had a prop diamond or something that I had some classmate hold for me in the store,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I got like a dollar store mask. So as I'm doing the scene, everything's going fine. I walk in, I have the gun. Right before the scene starts, though, my mask broke. It was like a thin string around the back to keep it on my face, so it broke. So I was like, well, fuck it. I got to just roll with it. What could I do? So I start the scene and I have the gun in one hand and I'm holding the mask on my face with the other hand. So, like, I'm on
Man, back
camera,
when
so
you
you
could
could
have a gun in
see.
school. Remember those days?
Oh, it's much different. I'm really aging myself here, aren't I?
Yeah, right. I just put my
um,
gun in my locker.
Literally, like, oh yeah, like yeah, pretty much. They'll never allow that shit nowadays, but it was before a lot of stuff went down. We'll just say that,
A
I guess.
lot of stuff.
But yeah, so I was holding my mask with my hand on my face and then the gun in the other hand. And
Mhm.
when I went to steal the diamond, I asked them for the diamond. So when they handed the diamond to me, I dropped my mask and I grabbed the diamonds with my hand. And then I looked up at like my scene partner, the person in the scene with me, and I realized my face was exposed. So then I put down the gun with the other hand, picked up the mask, and now I'm holding the mask and the diamonds. But now there's a
Yeah.
gun there that they could hold the gun on me now. So then I looked down at the gun and I realized that. So then I dropped the diamonds and I picked up the gun. And now, so I kept going through that cycle of like I could only hold two things,
Yeah,
and it's like
yeah,
mask
yeah.
and gun, and I just kept. And
Just try
as
to
I
find
did
the
that,
combo. Yeah.
I started getting laughs. So I like there's just a feeling of like, oh, that feels really good. And then I really started to play into it and overdo it. Um, in a relatively short, maybe it was like 30 seconds, a minute. I don't know how long it actually was, but just that whole situation and getting those laughs, it like I don't know if it was butterflies. I just felt something inside me that was like, wow, that feels great. I got to do that more. So from that point on, I was like, I want to be an actor. Like that was just so fun, just making people laugh and be entertained. Like it just felt good to me. So then I did the school play and I had a very, very, very small scene, which my teacher pushed me to do because I had stage fright. Like I still have stage fright. Even when I work as an MC and DJ, I've been doing it, I don't know, 6 years now. Still, when I get on the stage every now and then, I'm like unsure of myself, but then I just do it and it's like everything goes away because you got to just do the job, right? Um, but that was the moment I knew I wanted to be an actor. In grade 12, I had an agent. Same with my first year of university. I went to Guelph for like a semester, 6 months or so. I had an agent and I went to auditions. And I remember being in the room, like looking around, no training as an actor aside from high school drama. Didn't go to like a special arts school. It was just Forest Hill Collegiate. So it was just like a
Yeah, yeah.
regular high school. And I remember looking around and being like, I don't belong here. Like there's actors here and then there's me. And I'm just some kid who has no idea what he's doing. I've been to a couple auditions, just stumbling my way through it all, and I never got any work because I didn't know what I was doing. Then I left university. I auditioned for Humber College, acting for film and TV program. It was the only program I auditioned for, and I just so happened to get in. Apparently, there was like 300 auditions, and they only let in like 40 kids or something, 38 kids, and I was one of them. So that in itself was also, I guess, a sign, quote unquote. Like I didn't apply to Seneca, George Brown, York. I didn't. I was looking, and I for some reason it was just Humber or nothing for me. I don't know why, but that's just the decision
You're
I
just
made,
like,
and it
that's
just
where I want to go. Yeah.
worked out. I don't know.
Nice.
Um, and then going there for 2 years, that's really when it flipped the switch for me. My first year, I was definitely still self-conscious. Um, acting in front of other people. And the teachers straight up at the end of the first year told me that. They straight up said, like, listen, your marks are fine, but we're putting you on probation because we could tell that we could get more out of you and you're holding back for some reason. So if we don't see you really showing us how much you could do, we're just going to kick you out of the program. And it was a competitive program. Like the first year, I think
Yeah,
like 10 people got kicked out or 8 people or something.
that's crazy.
So that summer, I kind of went with the mentality of like, fuck them. I could show them how good I am. Like it was
Yeah,
almost
yeah,
resentment, which is kind of what I needed. And then I came back and that just lit a fire under my ass that I really pushed myself and I saw what I could do. And there was one scene that I did from the movie Filth. It's with James McAvoy. It's a really good film. I think it's a Scottish film, maybe Irish film. I don't know. It's not foreign film. It's not an American film.
yeah.
So I guess it's considered
It's
foreign
Scottish.
to
It's
North
foreign.
Americans. If it's not made in
That's
Canada or the
funny
US,
though.
it's a foreign film. You know what I mean? Um,
I
but
love that.
yeah, man, it's that was one of the moments. I remember I was so in the moment acting that I remember starting the scene and then it just finished. And I just remember whenever it ended, like my hands were tingling and I just felt like lightheaded.
Hmm.
And I didn't remember anything that happened. Like I was so in the moment as like I don't know what the right word is, but as like artistic or like, oh, I was
You're in the flow
zen. I
state.
was in the yeah, like as crazy
Yeah,
as
yeah.
people talk about it, I was in it. Because I remember afterwards, my teacher literally like everyone was just pretty much shocked. And my teacher was like, wow, that was an intense scene, guys. He's like, how do you feel? I remember I was breathing really heavy, like I couldn't catch my breath, like because that's what the scene called for. Like I was just, the
Yeah,
character was like
yeah.
the character was like a coked out, drunk, alcohol, like addicted, like hallucinations, like just a lot of
Yeah,
shit going on in the
yeah, yeah,
scene
yeah.
that it took a lot out of me. But I remember my hands were tingling, like I was literally just, I was like, honestly, I'm like, I don't remember what I just did. I don't remember anything that just happened. And that was the moment really that I was like, that's a high that I got to chase again. Um, I've gotten it very few times since. I did an audition once where I didn't get the role, but I came very close years ago. Funny enough, it was for the role of Jesus. I swear to God. And I literally looked like this. I had more of a beard. My hair was a bit longer, but it's for
That's
the role of
so
Jesus.
funny.
And I remember, man, I hit that flow state, and that's really what I chase. And I won't lie, I don't get it every audition. I don't get it every time I get a role and I'm on camera. Like it's something that keeps me going because when I do achieve it, it is a high like no other, man. So that's really, I would say that drama class was like I want to be an actor, and then hitting that flow state in college was like wow, that's like the peak of acting. That's what I got to keep doing.
Yeah, yeah.
And just getting the training, that gave me the confidence of like, okay, I'm an actor. And then I graduated and then I took a class and then I didn't take class for a few years. And now I'm taking class. I took classes 2019 and then the pandemic happened. So I didn't, but I just finished a round of classes again. And I realized like, as an actor, as is the case for anything, you're never like, okay, I'm good enough now. Like you got to consistently train. You got to constantly work on the craft. No different than working out, man. Like, you reach a certain weight when you work out and then it's like, okay, I don't have to work out anymore. It's like, no, you got to maintain that. Right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So same thing with acting. Like there's never for me, I wanted to take classes consistently. It is a little pricey to be honest, especially in a city like Toronto where it's like, it's a big
Some of
industry.
the
So they
better
know they could
classes.
charge
Yeah,
more.
yeah.
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 But I'm probably going to take classes probably in the new year, like next round, because first, well, depending where I go, which studio. But I'm probably aiming for the new year. I just took like classes for about 6 weeks, give or take. Gonna take a little break and make a little bit of money, and then jump back into
Nice.
more classes. But I find that's huge for me too, man. It's just being in class because that also gives me the confidence of like, truthfully, I'm doing more than a lot of other actors are. A lot of other people literally, which is what I was doing at one point. You just wait for your auditions, you do them, and you hope for the best. But it's like if you
Yeah.
take classes, man, it just, I don't know if it's for me personally. I don't know if it's like a subconscious thing where I just know I'm putting
It
in the
puts you
work.
in that zone, I think. It like gets your
Yeah,
head thinking more so about acting. So I don't know if it's just like drawing more from the universe towards you because you're just so
yeah.
focused on that maybe. And like
But even just like putting in the work, you know what I mean? Like you
yeah,
said, drawing
yeah.
from the universe of like,
Oh,
they're like, oh, you're
I
taking it
remember
seriously?
having
Okay.
like feeling better about my auditions when I had like just gone to a class like the night
Yeah, man.
before or something, right? Like I was
A
like,
hundred
oh,
percent.
I've already I did this. I practiced this the other night, so I'm good. Like
Yeah. so that's kind of also something that's really kept me going. Being in class, yeah, and also just meeting other actors and just hearing what they're doing. It's just like it's an exciting time, man. Like look, it's a tough industry for sure. A lot of rejection, a lot of shit you got to deal with often. But at the same time, like you said, the rewards that the reward not being like, oh, you're famous and you're friends with famous people, but more so just
Getting
obviously the
cool
money is,
cool shit. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Good
yeah, like
money
just.
sometimes.
And another thing is like just either theater or film and TV. I mean, again, film and TV, if it's like a 1 day shoot, not so much. But if you do like a series or if you do a film for like 60 days, it's like a family, man. You
Yeah.
work together with somebody that close, 12 or 18-hour days every single
It's a
day.
whole bonding experience that a lot of people don't get to ever
No,
experience.
man. And it's so nice. And you literally make like Kelly, who I adore. I met her prior to working at the studio. I met her doing a web series. She casted me in a web series. And she's been a good friend of mine ever since. That was in
Yeah,
2012 when I was 18, dude.
that's
And then
crazy.
she got me the job the first time I started working at IO.
No
She was editing
way.
there back in like 2017, I think. She's like, "Hey, I'm an editor. They're looking for a new host if you want to
Shit.
audition." Like, and so that's like, but that's the industry, right? It just comes full circle, man. How like it just one thing leads to another, and it's that's why they say it's not what you know, but who you know. 'Cause it's like
Yeah,
other
it
people
really
give you
is. Yeah,
opportunity.
yeah. That's why it's so
Um,
important to just be like networking and like talking to
yeah, and just
people and like,
putting yourself out there. But again, even
yeah.
going like it's not going to a Facebook networking actors event that you see. It's like literally just going to acting classes
Yeah, 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 yeah.
and
And just
working with
talking to the
other
people
actors and
around you.
just
Yeah,
talking.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like because you're all there for the same reason. And that's something that I've always had to get over in an acting class, and that's why I love my coach
Oh
Sophie.
yeah.
And I work at like Raw. I'm gonna give Raw a plug right now. Raw Actor Studio. I love it
Shout out
because
Rock, your studio.
there's something about their studio when I work with them that I feel like we're all here just to get better. It's not a matter of like, oh, she's the best, he's the best. It's like nobody gives a
Mhm.
shit about that. Doesn't matter what your level's at. Everyone's just trying to improve. So we're all going to support each other for that and that alone.
Yeah.
And that to me is like one of the biggest because again, the industry's so competitive, man. It's everyone's always judging each other, like what they look like, how they act, what they sound like, if they could do an accent or not, if they could hit a beat or not. Like so much
Yeah, how
behind it that
tall
it's like
it's,
defines
yeah. It's very
to find a group that
superficial in
it's
that
like,
regard
yeah,
because,
exactly,
but it's
superficial.
for
And
a
it's like
reason, right?
define,
Like they're trying to sell a product or whatever they want. So it's
yeah,
like they
but to
got at
find
the
a
end of the,
group that's just like there to support you, it's
yeah.
nothing like it, right, man? So that's yeah, I like that too about the industry is it's it's competitive, but it's also very tight knit. I'm sure same thing with comedy, man. It's like, you
Oh
know,
yeah, yeah. You can
it,
find like your people like within the comedy industry that like,
I
you
mean,
just want to support each other and you can have very different styles too, which is really cool.
and it's not about like, oh, they're on stage here, they're on stage. It's like
Yeah,
I'm happy
yeah.
that you're doing this.
Oh
You
yeah,
know what I
you get
mean?
psyched for them. You're like, that's so cool that
And
you
that's the
like,
thing.
got to do that or do this opportunity. It's like that's the mentality that we should be having now. It's because do not let jealousy even enter your mind.
That's it, man.
It's a
Because
weak
because
emotion.
jealousy will kill you. Resentment, jealousy, it'll just kill you, dude. Because
Just
what good does
eat
it
you
do?
up inside, waste your
Literally, what good does
time.
it do you? It just
Yeah.
it makes you bitter. It makes you unhappy. And it's like way I see it, man, is like if you and I go out for the same role and you get it over me, it's not a matter of just like, oh, fuck you, you shouldn't have gotten that. It's a matter of you were right for that role. For whatever reason, between the two of us, they decided that you're better than I am.
I guess it's all about tone. For whatever
Yeah,
reason, you were
for
right.
whatever reason. Um, like it's not about like, oh, I'm a better actor or he's better
Yeah,
looking
yeah.
or I'm this, I'm that. It's like, no, dude, the producer just liked the color of his eyes more. And it
Yeah,
comes down to
whatever
that.
it
And
was.
it's like
Yeah,
just
yeah.
support him for what he's done. So
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in that and just supporting each other. At the end of the day, if we're all going out, I mean, we're not that we're all trying to be actors,
Yeah,
more
yeah.
so
There's a lot of
me
people who are like,
specifically.
"Mm, I'm just going to my office." That's the thing
But
with actors.
regardless
You
of
get
what you're
so
doing,
caught
right?
up in your own
In your
world
own
that you're
life,
like,
yeah.
you think
It's true, man.
everyone's
Everyone's
going
kind of
out to
doing
auditions.
but the
There's
one
some
thing I
people that
will
are just
say,
construction workers.
just living the life day to day,
Yeah,
not
yeah, yeah.
wondering when they're gonna get their next
Not at
paycheck.
all. They don't. They're like, how does that whole thing work? Like maybe they learned a
um,
little bit today.
hey, maybe. But
Yeah.
one thing I will say that I hate is like whenever I tell people I'm an actor, and they're like, "Oh, like you're so nice, but are you acting now?" It's like Just shut the
I
fuck up.
never would share
Just
that
shut the fuck
information.
up. Like,
I'd be like accountant.
yeah, just don't like. I'm a human being.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like, I'm not always
yeah.
going
Well, it's the
back to
same
Ellen. It's
thing
like
if you
you're just a
told
human being. Like,
if you tell anyone that you're a comedian, it's
oh, do you have any
immediately
funny
tell me
jokes?
a joke. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and it's
Tell
like,
me a joke.
am I working right now?
Or
Like,
even worse, they'll be like, here's one for you, and you're like, oh, I'm good.
but again, I don't want to say I get it because I don't think I would do this. But like, if I wasn't feeling well and I ran into my doctor or I had something that I wanted him to check out,
I'm gonna be
I
like,
feel
can
like
you
it's a
take a look
curb.
at this?
Yeah, that's what I mean. I feel like it's a Curb Your Enthusiasm episode. Um,
Yeah,
but I don't think I would do that. I'd be like, we're in public. He's being a human being. He's not at his work. Like, if
yeah.
someone says,
I'll
for
book an
example, I'm an
appointment.
accountant, I'm not like, oh, I have a quick question. Like when I write something out, like they're not working. They're just
No,
being a
no,
human
no.
being. There's a big
Yeah,
difference, and
yeah,
people don't
yeah.
understand that, right? So yeah, I think that's a good thing to put out there. Like going back to Ellen is like Ellen on her stage on the Ellen show is not Ellen walking down the street in LA
No,
getting
yeah, that's what I was
groceries.
gonna say about
Like,
celebrities. Like, leave these people alone unless you're at an award show or at a concert or at something where they're appearing, like
yeah, and
they're
again,
at
I'm
some
it's a fine
event, they're at
line.
like a charity event. Come up to them at a charity event, maybe. Like, but not just like they're at the Whole Foods and
Yeah. Well, that's the thing though. I was talking to
you're
my
just
buddy
like,
about
what
it,
are you doing this weekend? Like,
and he was saying, he's like, if I saw somebody that I was a fan of and they were eating, he's like, I would never go up to their table. That's so rude. And I was like, I get it. Like he's like, you let them finish eating, like you don't. And he's like, I know people that just go up to them. And I'm like, I wouldn't mind though, because like, it's a fine line. Because I'm the kind of person where I'm like, at the end of the day, and I hate using the word fan because it's like I don't like the idea of like, oh, they're my fan. I feel like that's very
yeah, it's weird.
not condescending, but it's like almost like I don't know what the right word is. It's just like
I think supporter is a good word,
I like, yeah, supporter.
right?
Because I like people. There's a difference between
Yeah.
someone that supports you and someone being a fan. Like people that watch my like get my merch, people that watch my YouTube videos. Like I almost feel like there's a community of them, and they all interact with each other too. It's not just me. Like I see on Twitter, a lot of them now follow and tweet to each other, and I love seeing that. It's like building a community, and that's what I like. Right? Everyone's there just to uplift each other, which I think is great. If any of them saw me in person and I was eating, regardless of who I was with, what I was doing, I wouldn't want them to feel like, oh, I shouldn't approach him. He's eating. Because in my
Mhm.
mind, it's like you're literally the reason
Hey,
why
anyone watching, don't approach me if I'm eating.
you could approach
Thank
me.
you.
No, but
Thank you
it's like
ahead of time.
you're the reason why I could do what I could do, even though I'm not getting paid from YouTube, even though I don't
I
make
could
that
do
much.
other work.
I'll find other
Just
ways to
leave
make
me
money.
alone.
But so my mentality goes there of like, you know, for someone, for example, like Justin Bieber walking down the street, someone's like, "Can I get a picture?" If he's like, "Fuck off," it's like, dude, like odds are that person buys all your shit, and that's part of again a very small part of the reason why you can live the life you can because you got hundreds of millions of followers and whatever fans, but it's still a piece of the puzzle. So I think it's
Yeah.
that fine line of like I would never want people that
It's
support
not
me to
it's
feel like
not
they
just
can't
because
approach me.
yeah, but it's not just because like he doesn't have all that stuff just because of the fans either, right? Like
It's also because of
the
the work you put in,
it's
right?
because he put in all his work and there's like talent there and there's like this need
Right.
and this expression to put that out and then people were just interested in that and
So
therefore spent the
that's the
money.
fine line, right? Of
So it's
like,
like he didn't ask you for the money. He put out this product and a lot of
and you
people
just so
liked
happen to
it.
respond to it
Yeah, yeah.
100%. So
Yeah.
that's the
Like
fine line of like, I always want to show support for my supporters, people that support me. Um, but that's why even something as simple as like a follow back, man. I never understood why people like just don't follow. Like, there's like I said, a few people that just support the shit out of me,
that's
and I'm like,
really
I'll
great.
follow you back, and they
Yeah,
freak
yeah.
out. They're like, oh
Yeah,
my god,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
I'm like, me following you on a social media app is the least I could do. I'm like, you literally comment on every picture, every YouTube video. You follow me on every single app. You retweet
Yeah,
everything. I'm like,
yeah,
me
yeah,
following you back is the
yeah.
least I could do for you. So
Sure,
that's
it
also
takes
part of it,
no
right?
effort. I
That's what I mean. It
remember
doesn't cost any money. Like it's just, and it makes them so happy that I'm like, if it makes you this
well,
happy, it's my pleasure to do this for you.
imagine like someone that you like look up to or watch like following you back too, right? You
That's
have
what
the
I
same
mean.
reaction. So
That's what
yeah,
I mean.
the first time I started the YouTube stuff, I immediately reminded myself of that, of just like if so and so like responded to me, I would be like, what the
Yeah.
hell? So
Yeah.
anytime I had someone sending me a message or like, commenting or whatever, I would respond to it because I was like, oh, I want to give them that same satisfaction that I had.
100%. Now, look, I
Yeah.
won't lie. I have a lot of requests that I haven't opened because it gets to a point where you get so
Well,
many.
for sure that there's
And there's
some that
also a
you're
lot of
just like,
spam and stuff.
what?
And I've also had this conversation with women that we work with, like, and for them it's a little different. They get a lot of unwanted attention, like pictures and
They
videos
have a
from
lot of
men
messages that will die in
specifically.
their requests.
Yeah, where it's like guys are like, and I've seen it firsthand from numerous people that I've used to work with. Guys literally just like videos of them touching themselves, and I'm like,
Nasty,
what is going through this man's brain right now?
nasty
What does he
things.
think he's gonna get out of this, right? So I
That's
get it.
someone's son, you
Hopefully
know?
not someone's father. Fuck.
You know?
Like, just
Fuck.
yeah. I don't know, man.
Like
So that's also part of
where are
it.
we
Is
going
like,
wrong?
apparently we went wrong a long time ago, man.
God damn.
But yeah, that's also part of it. Is I appreciate my supporters. So any
Of
way I could show
course.
them that appreciation.
Yeah.
But again, it's one of those things. Like, I think I've been recognized once or twice, so it's easy for
We'll
me
show
to.
them where they can show their appreciation if they go to
Oh, hey,
YouTube and subscribe to Jarred
I
Pepper
see that you
Bronstein.
subscribed. I appreciate that, bro.
I'm subscribed. I got that. And then
Got
we've
a video
got
dropping tomorrow, so check it out.
nice. Check out Jarred Pepper Bronstein on YouTube. I'll link to that in the description. And then you can check out his new video. Go follow him on Instagram at Bronst7. Just
Appreciate it. Appreciate the plugs.
quick little plugs for you. Get things going.
But yeah, man, it's that fine line, right? 'Cause like it's easy for me to say like, oh, if you recognize me, come up to me. 'Cause it's like I said, I've been recognized maybe once or twice. That it's
Mhm.
not like I was flattered. I was like, oh my god, like thank you so much. Whereas someone like Justin Bieber, who the second he walks out of his house, he's got paparazzi, he's got people following him to his
Yeah,
house
yeah,
in his
yeah.
car. It's a much different lifestyle. So it's easy for me to be like, why can't you just show your appreciation?
Yeah.
And that's the thing, right? It's towing the line of like in one end being a human being, other end you're one of the biggest celebrities in the world. And yes, it comes with the territory, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's right.
Yeah, of course.
And
Yeah.
people seem to think like, oh, well, that's what they signed up for. And it's like, no, he's just a singer. He didn't ask for this necessarily.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's
I
also
think
something.
that's a good spot to land it, man. Like I think we just came up to an hour anyway. So is there anything that you want to
Sweet.
promote? I know you said that you have like a new video coming up.
Just the video, man. Hey, I want to
Video?
promote your podcast, bro. Like you said,
Nice.
supporting each other. I want to support a
Hit that
friend.
share
So
button. Not enough people
I'll
hit the
share it,
share
man.
button. Everybody hits like, everybody hits what, comments, but not enough people are hitting that share button.
Share. You know, that's the thing. You know how many views you can get off a share? Like it's one
It's
person has
way
500
more.
friends. They share it with their friends.
Way more.
Two of them see it and they share it with their friends. That could be another 1,000 or 1,500. Who knows, right?
Exactly. I'm switching all the calls to action to share. Hey,
Just
share this
share.
video.
Forget like, forget comment. Just share
Forget
it.
it.
I don't care. I don't care if you
Share
like
with a
it, if you hate it.
friend. Yeah. Well, I'll name it something good. So when you share it to them, they're your friends at least like, oh,
They're
okay,
intrigued.
I'll take a
You got to
listen.
clickbait them, man. Take a page out
I'll
of the
do
news
it nice
stations now.
though. We can do it in a good way. We're gonna change this YouTube algorithm. We're gonna do it in a good
Just so I
way.
know, not to put you on the spot. We can talk
Uh-huh.
about it later. But when is this coming out? Do you have a rough idea?
What's today? Wednesday. I put one out yesterday. Hopefully tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow at 9.
Okay, I got a video coming out tomorrow. So I was gonna
Nice.
say maybe I'll like I already have it edited, but maybe I'll just do a quick insert and I'll just be like, yo, check out this video I did or this podcast.
Yeah, or you can even just like whenever the next one that you film is, you can just
Fair.
talk mention that you were on it, and then we can send it all up.
Okay. Yeah, man. No, I really want to, and I 100% will.
Yeah. All right. Sick,
I don't even
man.
know if we could do a joint video like like reaction like this, but if we can. Didn't
No,
mean to cut off
I
your
would love
outro, my
that. I
bad.
would love that. I'll just come jump on your I'll come jump on your channel and we'll do that.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, man, thank you so much for coming on. I really
Man,
appreciate you coming on
thank you
here.
for having
Everyone
me.
go follow Jarred at Bronst7 on Instagram and Jarred Pepper Bronstein on YouTube. Links are in the description. As always, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And until next time, stay classy, YouTube.
Share
Or
it
at
though.
least
You
try.
gotta share it too.
Oh yeah, share.
You
Hit
gotta
that share
share it.
button.
Share button.
Anybody listening at home, rate 5 stars. Hit that follow button too. We need to monetize this podcast on Anchor. So make sure you're following the podcast. All right. Thank you, everyone. Bye.